City of Columbus for Thursday, January 12th to order. Brandon, will you take the roll, please?
Albright.
Present.
Hajewski.
Present.
Myers.
Here.
Monday.
Present.
Motif is excused. Tylen.
Here.
Traxler. Here.
We have a quorum. All right. This meeting was noticed properly in accordance with state law. Number 4, the agendas are in your packet. Take a moment to look over them, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All signify favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. This is the agenda we'll use. Item 5, approve minutes from November 10th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. Those are in your packets. Please take a moment to look over, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from November 10th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes from November 10th are approved. All right, at this time on the agenda, we have a space for citizen comments about any topic. Anybody in the audience wish to present any comments? General comments? Kyle or Brandon, did you receive any to read into the record? Okay. All right, moving on to item 7, unfinished business. There's none on the agenda, none that we're aware of. Item 8, new business. Public hearing to review the request of Quick Trip for a conditional use permit for a motor vehicle wash at 204 Dix Street. So I'll open the public hearing. Staff, do you want to give a brief synopsis of this before the public comments?
Sure. So Quick Trip is proposing multifaceted project here. They're going to be reconstructing a new convenience store, a larger one. We'll get to it later, but there's going to be a certified survey map to combine some parcels. Specifically here, we are talking about a conditional use permit for a car wash. They're looking at a one-bay car wash to the current site. The plans, the location are in your packet. The reason this is here is because in our current zoning code, a motor vehicle wash is a conditional use, and it's a compatible use with, convenience stores like what you're seeing here, but the motor vehicle wash itself is conditional. So that's what we're here for tonight.
Thanks. All right, opportunity for the public to make comment. Anybody in the room wish to make comment about the proposal? About the presence of the car wash? Thanks.
There we go.
Someone back there looking at it.
Sorry. Good evening, Troy Molezova with Quick Trip Real Estate, 1626 Oak Street, La Crosse, Wisconsin. Thanks for the time this evening. As Brandon mentioned, our proposal would be to reconstruct our store in town. The portion on the conditional use permit tonight would be we'd add a single bay car wash to the facility. With that, the plans show the car wash on the eastern portion of the site. And then to the west is obviously new store and new fueling areas as well. The car wash itself would be what we call an in-bay automatic car wash. So you'd enter the car wash with a keypad, pay pad on the left-hand side of the car. Door would open, you'd enter the car wash. The equipment would then move around. It'd be a choice wash, where it's either the option to have just the water wash around the car, or else it does have the option where it can actually brush or scrub the car as well. So some folks prefer either. We'd have the option for both. And then as they would finish, the door would open on the south side of the building and they would exit on the south side. The building itself would be largely a brick building with a standing seam accents around the top. The mechanicals would all sit inside the roof, so there wouldn't be anything seen. Nice finished product, again with landscaping, curb and gutter, and a nice appearance. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Car wash have a dryer?
Actually, I was just going to say, Commission will wait for the public hearing to finish, and then we'll have our opportunity to discuss it. So, thank you. Anybody else in the room wish to come to the microphone and give comment on the car wash at this site? Seeing none, I'll ask a second time. Does anybody wish to give comment? I should pause here and ask staff if there was any received that you wanted to read into the record at this time. Okay. I'll ask a third and final time for any comments to be presented. Hearing none, I'll close this public hearing. All right, 8B, review and make recommendation to council regarding the request of Quick Trip for conditional use permit for a motor vehicle wash at 204 Dick Street. Mike, you get the leadoff spot.
Couple of questions. So this is just talking about the car wash, not the rebuild of the facility?
Correct.
So all we're doing is talking about the car wash, not about the purchase of the land? Okay.
So essentially, as I understand it, right, the gas station convenience store is a permitted use in this zone. To have a car wash added to it is a conditional use. So we can either approve the conditional use with or without conditions, or deny the conditional use, in which case they would have a convenience store without a car wash.
Okay, even that additional lot is also okay to have a convenience store?
Yeah, same zoning.
Same zoning combination.
So all we're doing is talking about that, and then will we ever come back and talk about the reconstruction of those two lots?
So the CSM itself will be discussed, but only on the terms of the required items to approve a CSM, not about what's going on the lots. Again, permitted use means whatever is permitted can go there without interjection from the Plan Commission. It's really a staff review at that level.
So, but we can ask general questions, right? Just because we just want ask general questions?
You can, but you can't base any of your decisions
Oh, yeah, okay.
on anything other than the car wash conditional use.
I understand, because if we just have a curious mind, we can ask something, right? Okay.
It probably bears mentioning that the things that staff would be reviewing would include the staff attorney, would include the city engineer, has to do with making sure site plan requirements are met, lighting, stormwater. I do believe for this particular parcel, for the CSM, there was a stipulation on the underlying CSM that a traffic study be completed. Right, so that's, we could talk about, I would like to talk about that.
That's kind of where,
But I think that's probably where most of the curiosity lies. But that said, all of those things are done at staff level due to the fact that it is a permitted use. So, does anybody have questions
I
or
do.
comments about the car wash?
I
Mike,
do.
you're still in
I
the
do.
leadoff spot.
I assume it has the big blower on the exit?
It does. It's inside the building, so there's some car wash you've seen when they're outside. The blower would be inside this building, yeah.
We're not near a residential area. I don't think that's going to be a concern like the other one was. But would you think that this is going to increase traffic to this facility with the new building and?
Yeah, overall, our thought here is obviously we're replacing a building that's been there since the 80s. It doesn't have the standards in terms of quality and size of restrooms, quality and size of kitchens. So we'll have more product in the store and we'll have more space for our guests and our coworkers to work. But we don't anticipate there being a large increase in the amount of business. We're in Columbus to serve the community. Obviously, we're close to 151, but we've got other stores up and down the 151 corridor in different towns. So our large goal with this is to provide kind of the next years of service out of a new building, probably with similar volume. Maybe there's a little bit more, hopefully not a little bit less, but a bigger footprint so people can function better than maybe what's there today.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. The thing that I'm concerned with is the traffic in that area, ingress and egress. Lots of nice property there that we have a lot of traffic, and we've done a number of things within the city. So as you're going through that process to see what we can do to better improve that ingress egress would be.
Absolutely, and we're of the same, because obviously we want people to feel comfortable coming and visiting us, and we're in the same boat. We want everybody to feel safe and comfortable.
That's all I have.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking at the map, and I understand that you bought the property behind you. So you're going to be, so the original building's going to be set back, right? The store is going to be set back, is the way I'm looking at this in the map. Is that correct?
Correct. It'll move to the grassy area farther west, I
Okay.
guess is a
So then the
way to
pumps
put
are
it.
staying in the same spot?
The pumps would be relocated as
Oh,
well
they are,
farther
okay.
to the west.
And then the car wash isn't actually in front?
Well, it is in front. I'm going to call it in front. It's closest to
The
Dick
road.
Street, so east. It's a standalone building
Yep.
for the car wash, so I would say that's in the front, I guess is maybe how I
Yeah.
would describe it.
So I think this is fantastic. My only other comment is I was kind of where Mike was going. I mean, so that corner is kind of bad, right? Especially if you're doing a big vehicle coming through there. So are you going to be, is the flow of traffic going to be, with this rebuild, is the flow of traffic going to be a little bit more user-friendly, or I don't know what the exact word would be, but,
Yeah, a couple of things that we see out of this is with moving everything west, we've got more space on that shared drive with Pick and Save to have
Yep.
folks queue maybe more safely. Right now, they're coming in and turning right fairly quickly. With this, we're pushing everything a little farther to the west, so there's more, I don't know if throat is the right word, but there's more room in there. And then with our lot configuration, you'll see we'll have more room and space on our parcel with picking up the extra land and kind of shifting everything west. There'll be more room on our site for people to maneuver, more parking. Right now, we're maybe short on parking compared to what we'd like to see. So we have additional parking on site. And a second thing we're doing, kind of in coordination with Pick and Save, one of their comments from their group was making a connection on the north side, so up along parallel to Highway 60. There'll be a second connection made across on the north side. So instead of right now everybody's coming in and out one driveway and making that bend around the corner, coordinating with them, we made a second connection on the north side so that we'll have two ways of ingress and egress across the two properties, which I think is good for the community and good for both businesses, and obviously more convenient for folks that they don't all have to make that bend that they're making today, so to speak.
all right, great, thank you.
Would you say that this sheet is probably the most simple representation of how you the layout? This is your, right, this is what you're talking about, like,
Sorry, my eyes aren't.
you were talking about that secondary entrance here.
Correct.
The throat distance here, right?
Maybe another plan that's easy to look at is the landscape plan, which is page 16 out of the out of the packet, so farther towards the back. It's got more dark colors on the buildings, kind of in a dark gray.
It's labeled L1.
L1, correct. And that might be an easier depiction to see kind of what's happening at the corner. Again, slightly unrelated to the car wash, but just to explain the drawing. There'll be a stormwater feature at the corner, farthest east. Then you'll have the car wash, one-lane car wash building. Then you go to the east, you'd have paving and a drive aisle. Excuse me, I said east, I meant west. Then west of that is the fuel canopy. West of that would be another drive aisle. West of that is parking, and then the front door to the store. And then also on the north side of the building, facing Highway 60, is a second entrance, and there'll be 2 bays of parking there as well. So then if you follow that farther north, you'll see a drive aisle connecting, I'm going to call it parallel to 60, and then that cross connection is going to be made up at the far north corner, what I'm going to call Quick Trip's new northwest lot line, to connect to the Pick and Save property, so you'd have a second connection up at that point as well.
So does anybody have any more questions about the car wash part of it? Because I think everything we're talking about is not about the car wash right now, and I think we should get past that part if that's what is, if we're ready to do that, and so we can talk about the CSM and all those details.
Sure. I do have a comment about the car wash. Okay. I do see that you are, so you enter the car wash from the north.
Correct.
Right? So I suppose that's a mechanism for keeping the queue of cars from clogging up that first driveway coming off of Dix Street.
Correct.
How many cars is that queue designed for? And is there a risk of the queue backing up into Dix unless you force the queue to follow the northerly property line parallel to Highway 16?
Correct. So that'd be our plan. Generally, we've got, on your average day, room for cars, 3-4 cars to queue. If you get a heavy use day in the winter and the salt's all off and everybody wants to wash their car, certain weekend days, it can queue up more. So that's exactly what we would plan. If you did get that heavy use day, that cars would be queued up, I'm going to say closest to 60, facing back to the east in that line to head south into the car wash. And then what you see where that angular white strip is there, that we call that a escape lane or a bailout lane. So if someone is in line or there's some mechanical issue with the car wash that it's suddenly unavailable, people could exit back out without feeling like they're stuck, so to speak. So that's how they would enter, and then the exit side would be to the south, and you'd have one car coming out. I think the fastest the wash can go is one car every 6 to 7 minutes. Yeah, so a lot of folks with our newer washes, we've got different options on them, and we've had seen people well received to the I guess higher level wash, which takes a little more time. So on average, that wash is probably going to be, if it's running at full capacity, 6 to 7 minutes per wash, and maybe that means 10 cars in an hour.
Any other questions about the car wash?
Would the car wash be constructed before the other parts?
No, what we're going to have to do is sequence this. So we'll sequence it such that we build the new store building first. So we'd always have the store operational and available for the community and our guests. Then we'll have to come back and work on the rest of it, so to speak. So the car wash, I would anticipate being open towards the end of the project. First thing will be open will be the store. And then we're going to have to sequence everything else as we kind of go back and...
Sort of domino westward.
Correct, yeah. And I don't think we have it exactly figured out yet, but generally speaking, we know we're going to start with the store building. That's kind of the longest time frame thing to build. And then as we get that completed, we can come back and keep working on the rest of it.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to the city council for a conditional use permit for a motor vehicle wash at 204 Dick Street.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Who's the second? I'm sorry.
I have a question. Your motion lacked any conditions. Was that intentional?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recommended to council. Item 8C, review and make recommendation to council regarding the request of Quick Trip for the proposed certified survey map for parcels 1111.022 and 1111.040. All right, the certified survey map is the short section in your packet. I see there's some staff review comments available from Rupert Milkie here. Looks like mostly things that are missing that need to be added with regards to notes and dimensions and such. Any questions or comments for discussion?
So are we actually approving or recommending?
So they're proposing to buy the lot in between Quick Trip and Pick and Save and just combine those two separate lots into one lot.
Any questions, comments? Okay. All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to make recommendation to council.
So I have a question for you, Urias. You
Yes,
are
sir.
Such the expert on CSMs. The staff comments on here, are these pretty normal? I don't know what any of that stuff means, to be fair.
It is very normal. It's basically a QA/QC check on making sure that the standards of the map meet state administrative code.
Okay.
So it'd be appropriate to make a motion pending addressing the comments on the,
Yes.
That's what I was getting at. Thank you
There
for
you go.
that.
I'll entertain a motion then, a second.
so I would motion to approve pending addressing the comments from Rupert Milkie.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, oh, I'm sorry. Any final comments? All right. All those in favor of recommending to council approval of the CSM pending staff comments signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Recommend to council. All right. We reached the end. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.